Did you know that some yogurts contain more sugar than a candy bar? You've been grabbing what you think is a healthy breakfast option, but you might actually be starting your day with a dessert in disguise. What if I told you that the yogurt sitting in your fridge right now could be sabotaging your health goals and packing on pounds without you even realizing it? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 popular yogurt brands that are fooling millions of people into thinking they're making a nutritious choice when they're actually doing more harm than good. Before we get into the list, let me be clear about something. Yogurt can be an incredibly healthy food. It's packed with protein, calcium, probiotics, and other essential nutrients that support gut health, bone strength, and overall wellness. But here's the problem. Food manufacturers have figured out that people want convenience, and they want things to taste good. So they've taken this ancient superfood and transformed it into something that barely resembles real yogurt anymore. They've loaded it with sugar, artificial sweeteners, synthetic colors, thickeners, and preservatives until what you're left with is basically a pudding cup masquerading as health food. The worst part, they market these products as nutritious options for you and your kids, slapping labels on them that say things like low-fat or probiotic-rich while conveniently hiding the fact that you're consuming massive amounts of added sugar and chemicals your body doesn't recognize as food. One saying, let's start with number 1. And this might surprise you because it's one of the most popular brands on the market. Yoplait Original has been a staple in American refrigerators for decades. But when you actually look at what's inside these little containers, it's shocking. A single serving of Yoplait Original contains around 27 grams of sugar. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends that women consume no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day, and men should stay under 36 grams. One container of this yogurt essentially maxes out your entire daily sugar allowance before you've even had breakfast. And we're not talking about naturally occurring sugars from the milk. We're talking about added sugars that are dumped in to make it taste like dessert. When you eat that much sugar first thing in the morning, your blood sugar spikes dramatically, your pancreas floods your system with insulin, and within a couple of hours you're going to crash hard, leaving you tired, cranky, and craving more sugar. It's a vicious cycle that leads to weight gain, increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and chronic inflammation throughout your body. Beyond the sugar content, Yoplait Original also contains modified cornstarch, which is used as a thickener and has been linked to digestive issues in some people. It also includes artificial flavors and colors in many varieties. And these synthetic additives have been associated with hyperactivity in children and potential allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. When you're choosing yogurt, you want something that's going to nourish your body and support your health goals, not something that's going to send you on a blood sugar roller coaster before 9 in the morning. 2nd. Number 2 on our list is Dannon Fruit on the bottom, and this one really bothers me because of how it's marketed. The name itself suggests that you're getting real fruit, like somehow this is a more natural, wholesome option. But when you flip over the container and read the ingredients, you'll find that the fruit at the bottom is essentially fruit-flavored syrup. These yogurts contain approximately 24 grams of sugar per serving, and much of that is coming from added sugars in that fruit mixture at the bottom. Real fruit contains natural sugars, yes, but it also contains fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help your body process those sugars in a healthy way. The fruit mixture in these yogurts has been so heavily processed and sweetened that you're losing most of those beneficial compounds. You're basically getting a sugar bomb with some fruit flavoring. What's even more concerning is the long list of additives you'll find in these products. Depending on the variety, you might see ingredients like carrageenan, which is a seaweed-derived thickener that has been linked to digestive inflammation and gut irritation in numerous studies. Some people experience bloating, cramping, and other digestive discomfort from carrageenan, yet it continues to be used in many yogurt products because it's cheap and creates that thick, creamy texture that people expect. You'll also find modified food starch, natural flavors, which is a catch-all term that can include dozens of different chemical compounds. And in some varieties, artificial colors derived from petroleum. Parents often give these yogurts to their kids thinking they're providing a nutritious snack, but in reality, they'd be better off giving them a piece of actual fruit and some plain yogurt. 3rd. Moving on to number 3. We have Yoplait Whips, and these are particularly deceptive because they're marketed as a light, airy treat that feels indulgent but supposedly isn't as bad for you as regular yogurt. The texture is achieved by whipping air into the yogurt, which does reduce the density and creates that mousse-like consistency. But don't let the lighter texture fool you into thinking this is a lighter option nutritionally. A serving of Yoplait whips contains around 14 grams of sugar, and while that might seem better than some of the other options on this list, you're also getting less actual yogurt because so much of the volume is just air. What you end up with is a product that has less protein, less calcium, and less of the beneficial probiotics that make real yogurt valuable, while still delivering a significant sugar hit. The ingredient list includes modified cornstarch, gelatin, which may be a concern for vegetarians and vegans, and a range of artificial flavors and colors depending on the variety. One of the most troubling ingredients in whips is sucralose, an artificial sweetener that's used in some varieties. Research on sucralose has raised concerns about its effects on gut bacteria, suggesting that it may kill off beneficial microbes in your digestive system. This is particularly ironic in a yogurt product, since one of the main benefits of eating yogurt is supposed to be supporting your gut microbiome with probiotics. So you've got a product that's adding beneficial bacteria with one hand while potentially killing them off with the other. Additionally, some studies have suggested that artificial sweeteners can actually increase sugar cravings and lead to weight gain rather than weight loss, which completely defeats the purpose of choosing a lighter yogurt option. Number 4 is and I need to talk about this one because it's specifically marketed to children. Parents buy these squeezable yogurt pouches and bottles, thinking they're giving their kids a healthy snack or lunchbox edition. The packaging is covered with bright colors, cartoon characters, and messaging about calcium and vitamin D, but when you actually examine what's inside, it's essentially a sugar delivery system for kids. Each bottle contains around 19 grams of sugar, and for a child, that's an enormous amount. Kids are smaller, their bodies are still developing, and they don't need anywhere near as much sugar as adults. When children consume high amounts of sugar regularly, it sets them up for a lifetime of health problems, including obesity, dental cavities, behavioral issues, and an unhealthy relationship with food, where they come to expect everything to taste sweet. Beyond the sugar content, Danimals contains artificial colors, including red 40 and blue 1, which have been linked to hyperactivity and attention problems in children in multiple studies. In fact, these artificial colors are actually banned or require warning labels in many European countries because of these concerns. Yet they're still widely used in American food products. The European Union requires products containing these dyes to carry a warning label stating that they may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. Shouldn't that concern us? Danimals also contains natural flavors, modified cornstarch, and vitamin A acetate, which is a synthetic form of vitamin A. While fortifying foods with vitamins might sound like a good thing, when you're adding synthetic vitamins to a product that's essentially junk food, you're not creating health food, you're just creating junk food with vitamins added. It's far better to give children real, whole foods that naturally contain the nutrients their growing bodies need. Number 5 is Go-Gurt, another product aimed at kids that's marketed as convenient and fun. These squeezable tubes of yogurt have become a staple in school lunchboxes across America, and parents love them because kids will actually eat them without complaining. But convenience shouldn't come at the cost of your child's health. Go-Gurt contains around 9 grams of sugar per tube, and while that might seem lower than some other products, keep in mind that these tubes are smaller portions. Kids often eat 2 or 3 of them in one sitting, which means they're consuming close to 30 grams of sugar just from their yogurt. The texture of Go-Gurt is achieved through various thickeners and stabilizers, and the product contains artificial flavors and colors in many varieties. One concerning aspect of Go-Gurt is that it's often kept in kids' lunchboxes for hours at room temperature before being eaten, while the product is technically shelf-stable for short periods due to the preservatives and processing methods used. This isn't ideal for maintaining the viability of any probiotics that might be present. Real yogurt contains live active cultures that are temperature sensitive, and keeping them at room temperature for extended periods can kill them off. So even if Go-Gurt does contain some beneficial bacteria to begin with, by the time your child squeezes it out at lunch, there might not be much left. The bigger issue here is what these products teach children about food. When kids grow up eating artificially colored, artificially flavored, hyper-sweetened versions of foods, that becomes their baseline for what food should taste like. They develop a preference for these intense, artificial flavors, and when you offer them real yogurt or real fruit, they reject it because it doesn't taste sweet enough or bright enough. You're essentially training their palates to crave processed foods, which sets them up for poor eating habits that can last a lifetime. Number 6 is light and fit Greek, and this one is particularly frustrating because Greek yogurt is supposed to be one of the healthier yogurt options. Traditional Greek yogurt is strained to remove excess whey, which concentrates the protein and creates a thicker, creamier texture naturally. It's higher in protein, lower in sugar, and more satisfying than regular yogurt. But Light and Fit Greek takes this potentially healthy food and ruins it by adding artificial sweeteners. The product contains sucralose and asulfam potassium, two artificial sweeteners that have raised health concerns in recent research. These sweeteners are hundreds of times sweeter than sugar, and when you regularly consume them, they can alter your taste preferences and make naturally sweet foods like fruit taste bland by comparison. Studies have shown that artificial sweeteners can disrupt your gut microbiome, potentially leading to glucose intolerance and metabolic changes that actually increase your risk of weight gain and diabetes. This is exactly the opposite of what people are trying to achieve when they choose a light yogurt product. The irony is painful. People choose these artificially sweetened yogurts because they're trying to cut calories and lose weight, but the artificial sweeteners may actually be sabotaging those efforts by disrupting their metabolism and increasing cravings for sweet foods. Additionally, some people experience side effects from artificial sweeteners, including headaches, digestive upset, and mood changes. Light and Fit Greek also contains a range of thickeners, stabilizers, and artificial flavors to make up for the lack of fat and sugar. When you remove fat and sugar from a food product, you remove flavor and texture, so manufacturers have to add back all these other ingredients to make it palatable. You end up with a Frankenstein version of yogurt that's been so heavily processed and modified that it barely resembles the real thing. 7. Finally, number 7 is Trix yogurt, and I almost can't believe this product exists. It's literally named after a sugary breakfast cereal and marketed to children with the same cartoon rabbit character. Each container contains around 14 grams of sugar, and the yogurt comes in artificially bright colors like blue, pink, and purple that don't exist anywhere in nature. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment, with multiple artificial colors including red 40, blue 1, and yellow 5, all of which have been associated with behavioral problems in children. The product also contains modified cornstarch, natural flavors, and a host of other additives. What message are we sending to children when we give them yogurt that's named after candy and colored like a rainbow? We're teaching them that food is entertainment, that eating should be about fun characters and bright colors rather than nourishment and fuel for their bodies. And we're normalizing the consumption of artificial ingredients and excessive sugar from a very young age. When children eat products like Trix yogurt regularly, they come to expect all foods to be brightly colored and intensely sweet. They're less likely to accept plain yogurt, fresh fruits, vegetables, and other whole foods that don't provide that same sensory overload. This creates picky eaters who reject healthy foods and sets them up for obesity, nutritional deficiencies, and chronic health problems as they grow older. As parents and caregivers, we need to do better. We need to read ingredient labels, question marketing claims, and prioritize real food over convenience and cartoon characters. So what should you eat instead? Look for yogurt that has a short ingredient list. The ingredients should be milk, live active cultures, and nothing else. If you want sweetness, add your own fresh fruit, a drizzle of raw honey, or a sprinkle of cinnamon. This way, you control exactly how much sweetener you're adding, and you're using natural sweeteners that come with beneficial nutrients rather than empty calories. Choose full-fat yogurt instead of low-fat or non-fat versions. The fat in yogurt helps you feel satisfied, supports the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, and doesn't spike your blood sugar the way low-fat, high-sugar yogurts do. Greek yogurt is generally a better choice because of the higher protein content, but make sure you're buying plain Greek yogurt without added sweeteners. If you're buying yogurt for kids, get them involved in customizing their own. Let them add their own toppings like berries, granola, nuts, or seeds. This teaches them about real food, gives them control over what they're eating, and helps them develop a healthy relationship with food. And most importantly, start reading labels. Don't trust the marketing on the front of the package. Flip it over, read the ingredient list, and check the nutrition facts. If you see a long list of ingredients you can't pronounce, if you see artificial colors or flavors, if you see more than 10 grams of sugar per serving, put it back on the shelf and find a better option. Your body deserves real food, not a science experiment disguised as health food.